Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome back to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach.
And I'm Mac.
And today we're going to be going over the M games of our collection as a part of our Alphabet Soup Challenge. We're playing through all of our games A to Z.
Yes.
And going through kind of letter by letter, deciding if there's any games we want to call after playing them or whatnot. And that's kind of what we discuss here, or play of them possibly. And
Yep.
if it's our first time playing them, if we're thinking of calling them, if they're on the edge. But yeah, our shelves are getting full, so I thought it'd be good to play through some of them that haven't hit the table in a while, just to give them another shot. I know there's probably some that you would rather not give a shot to and just get rid of them, but I feel a little bit better this way.
Yeah.
So we will get right into it.
I'm a good sport.
We'll get right into it. And the first one is Menara, which is one we've played before.
Mm-hmm. We've had this one for a while.
We have had it for a while, but for how long we've had it, we actually haven't played it that many times.
Mm-hmm. I'm kind of surprised that this is one that would have made it into our collection. It doesn't really seem like it's one that's too much up your alley, but...
Yeah, I'm really not sure. I'm trying to think of how I even heard of it in the first place, because I don't even know that anyone on the Dice Tower really likes it. I don't think they all hate it or anything, but I don't remember any of them being like, oh, this is an amazing game. But yeah. Maybe it was just the fact that it was kind of I wouldn't say like very strategic, but a little more strategic of like a I can't even think of the type of game where you're building up pretty much platforms upon platforms.
House of Cards. Jenga.
Yeah, so you're stacking up different platforms trying to get to a certain height without it falling over pretty much, and you're flipping over these cards that require you to put so many pillars down or complete a floor level that forces you to put another one on there. So it's an interesting game.
Dexterity?
Yeah, dexterity game. That's the right term for it. And I guess what would you say after that play? Or just in general?
I don't know. I feel like it's almost just too hard. Like, you gotta really think about where you're putting these and what you take. It's like collaborative, but like, I don't know. It's
cooperative?
Yeah, that's the word. So it's fine, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't ever think that it's going to be possible to complete this game. I've never seen it done.
We've done it before.
Was I there?
I'm pretty sure you and Abby have both said we haven't done it before, and I'm like, I know you've been there, and we've done it at least 2 or 3 times.
I do not.
Because I remember even the one time we won, and then, because I don't remember, one of the conditions was met, and then we just took like the rest and just tried to stack as high as we could at your parents' house. And I know we got it like extremely high.
Okay. Well, that just goes to show how memorable it is.
Yeah. I don't know that it's one that I need to keep. Cause I don't know. It does make for some stand-up moments, and it's a pretty solid cooperative game. Because I know like some of the popular ones are either usually party games, or I feel like probably the most popular cooperative game is like the Pandemic series. So I think this one's a solid, different type of cooperative game. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I don't know that it's necessarily one we'd have to keep, but. Yeah. I do like to bring it out every now and then.
Mm-hmm. I think it's worth maybe keeping in the collection for now, just because it is so different, and it is something you can kind of just pull out.
Yeah, we really don't have that
on
many.
A whim game. So
yeah, we don't really. I don't know that we have any other dexterity games. So
we've got one, and I don't like that one.
Which one?
Tokyo Highway.
Oh, Tokyo Highway. I honestly didn't even remember that one.
Spoiler,
so that's why.
Spoiler for the teas.
Yes.
Stick around.
But yeah, so then we'll go into Mystic Vale, which is actually the first of 2 or 3 that aren't ours.
2.
Okay. So first of 2 that aren't ours, and this one is kind of it's not really a deck building game. It's like a card building.
Push your luck draft, kind of.
I wouldn't say it's a draft.
Oh.
It is very much deck builder
Yeah.
type. You're just upgrading your cards that are in your deck, so you're never adding more cards. You're just making all of those cards better, typically, and then trying to get points via some of the different ways in the game. It's an interesting. I like it quite a bit. It's an interesting take on a deck building type of game, and it really works really well to put those cards together. It's really slick on how it works, I think. So yeah, I think it's a solid game. If it was ours, I would definitely keep it in the collection because it's different than a lot. I think the designer, I'm totally blanking on his name, John DeClaire. Yes, I was gonna say that, but I just blanked for a moment. But yeah, I think he has some other ones that have a similar card thing, but those ones I haven't thought they looked as interesting, so I think I would still pick this one over some of those other ones, but that's without actually playing them. So I don't know. Let us know in the comments below if you've played. I think like Dead Reckoning card crafting system. So deck building type. You didn't really say what you thought about it, but
yeah, I really like it. It's in my top 50 games. I'm kind of sad we don't own it, and so that's kind of a bummer. But yeah, it's just really interesting. The push your luck is fun. You know, getting to pick out your cards, trying to get those like extra gold cards while getting mana or whatever that point system is super fun. It almost ends too early for me sometimes, so it's always one I like to play.
Yeah, I feel like the only thing about it is it's really tough because I feel like at the same time when it ends, you could usually tell typically who's going to win because someone, usually by that point, someone has something that's really strong and is just going to kind of beat you the rest of the game. Yeah. So I feel like if it went on too much longer, then it would just kind of feel not as fun for the people that weren't winning. But then we've got our biggest M game and possibly one of the biggest boxes of any of our games, and that is Mechs versus Minions, which is one that you haven't actually played.
No, you guys played it without me, and then I come to find it's like a campaign game, and I was like, rude.
I didn't think it was a campaign game. Jesse Pepper was the one that got this one and knew a little bit more about it. I'd heard of it, and I knew it was in the Board Game Geek Top 100, so I was definitely interested in at least trying it. But it's kind of a... Now I'm blanking on that, too. It's kind of a programming game where you're kind of... and a drafting, so you're drafting the cards to go into your little, I don't know, area that kind of says what your mech is going to do, and then you get some different things that kind of affect you, and then you start doing other things that you didn't really plan for, and it's an interesting game. I have only played it once, but I had a good time with that, and I think based on that one game you could probably join in pretty easily. I don't know that there was, I don't know. I haven't played the whole thing, but I don't know. I guess campaign is, I don't know. I felt like after that it was a loose term, like you just are doing more and more challenging things, which I mean is still campaigny, just not quite the same definition as you'd use in like Clank Legacy or Charterstone or maybe even like Scythe, Rise of Fenris. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting game because I don't think we have too many of these either, if any. Programming games. I think the only other one we've played, which isn't actually ours, is the Western one, Colt Express.
Oh, really? That's a programming game?
Well, I think so, because you're having to pick what you're going to do without knowing some of the information. Oh. Where you like shoot and duck and whatnot, go down and up. So it's kind of like that hidden. I think that would be considered that. So I do like it. It's definitely an interesting thing. But,
dirty box.
Yeah, it's interesting how they start to affect you. And here's another one.
Another one I didn't get to play.
You did not get to play, and that is Magnastorm.
It's newer, so I'll get a chance.
Yeah, it is a newer one. I don't know that I've really heard all that much about this one. I just know This was
You're a hipster.
this was on sale, so I just looked to see what the dice. I usually go to like Tom's reviews on things to see sometimes if. If he doesn't even give it a seal of approval, then I usually just move on. And he actually gave it a seal of excellence, which really surprised me because I'm like, I honestly hadn't ever heard of the game, and I never hear anyone talk about it. So I was like, maybe it's just one of those hidden gem type games.
And is it?
After one play, I don't know that I would have given it an excellent. Probably using their system, I would think it'd be closer to an approval. I don't think it's a bad game, but I feel like it would play out similarly each time because there's kind of like and I think it was a little disappointing because there's this huge board and you're laying out these cool looking turtle base or miniature base things, and it's kind of like it's good. We're gonna fill up the whole board with this. It's gonna look really cool by the end of the game, but throughout the game, you're taking them back off to score certain cards because it's a race game to like 20 or 25 points or something. So you're not really having too many out there at the same time, which is kind of a little unsatisfying because they're really really cool looking. I think they're some of the coolest ones that I've seen. And there were definitely some interesting things in the game. I just don't know because there's also the worker placement in it is really unique, really interesting. So I can see why he would give it an excellent because it did feel different. But there were just a few pieces of the game that I felt made it so it wasn't like just completely that next level. And I think part of that is always, I don't know, I think it's really tough to make a racing game or a game where you're racing to a certain amount of points.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just a really tough thing to do.
Those are stressful games.
Because they almost make you do the similar things over and over if you can.
Yeah.
If you find out like which things are the fastest to get you to points. So I think that's the hardest part about those types of games. If you see it for cheap, I think it's worth at least, maybe you can look at some videos on it and see if it sounds like it's something for you. It does have some interesting things in it. If you're looking at Tom Vassal's review, I would say I'd probably put your hype into it a little bit lower than what he had. So,
wow, coming for Tom.
But I'm hoping you'll still try it. It's not too long of a game, so that helps.
Yeah.
Not 3 hours like another game we're gonna get to. So then we've got Meadow.
Yeah. This is new to us this year, right?
Yep.
Did we get it for holiday or a birthday or something?
I don't remember.
This one just showed up on the shelf, and I was like, what is that? Where'd that come from? And I'm like, it's cute. I mean, like, we have a lot of woodland-themed games. It's a very popular theme for board games, I think. So, so Zach was like, oh, I think you'll like this one. We have a game that I think is pretty similar to it, Quadropolis, and I gotta say, after playing them, I like this one better. And I played Quadropolis a couple more times, and I've only played Meadow once. But this is a really cool game where you have a meadow of cards out in front of you, and you are using little, I don't even know what, like picks, I guess you'd call them, to, claim a card in a row or a column, and then adding it to your own, for lack of better words, meadow. And there's, different cards. It's basically set collection, right?
Sort of, yeah. I would say it's kind of, I guess I don't know exactly. You could almost say card chaining or something like that, maybe. I don't know if that's exactly right.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a system where, I mean, you are because you're not really trying to get like 3 frog symbols or something, and that gets you points.
Right.
But you are like using a frog symbol and another symbol.
It's a set collection so that you can collect more sets.
Right.
And then
I guess I don't know what the term is for that. If you know what the term is for that, let us know.
A dominoing set.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. We should create a dictionary of board game terms.
There probably is a term for it.
Let us know if you're interested in that below, and we'll kickstart that.
Wow. Okay.
But I really like this game. I'm glad we have it. It's probably one of the games I really liked so far in learning them this year. So Yeah, it's just really cool. I like this one a lot.
Surprised you haven't asked to play it again then.
Yeah, it's just because I think it's mainly just because we're trying so hard to get through the alphabet and then trying to balance that with like taking a break to play other games.
Because we are only in the M and it is August, middle of August currently, so...
Yeah, so we got problems.
The middle of the alphabet is M.
Yeah.
So, should have been here around the end of June. But I think kind of the last half of games there's...
Yeah.
We got a couple big letters, but then the rest of them kind of are almost nothing, so... we're in good shape,
Should be alright. Should be alright.
Yeah, we are keeping Meadow.
Just a really cute, pretty game.
Ooh, Maglev Metro. This is one that I couldn't get you to play again. Had to get Pepper to play it.
Yeah. I should have probably played it again, but I just didn't really want to.
I've wanted to play it again for a while, because
You really like this one.
I like the game, and I know I do agree that and maybe this is more of a Pepper problem than you, but the trains not being able to just turn around and go the opposite way. I know that can be a little bit annoying, because sometimes you don't even think about it. It's not like you're trying to break the rules, but you just forget. You're like, oh yeah, I'll just go back to that one, but no, you actually have to go one more this way and then come back because you're not to the end of the track yet. So I can see that being a little bit annoying sometimes, but there is that option to make it, but I think it still costs you a turn to turn around, which is also annoying. I feel like if you have that, you should just be able to go either way, I think, is what that should do. But I really like the picking up the passengers to pick up and deliver in this one, and making the different routes. I find that interesting.
I like the route building, but the pick up and deliver with that, like in combo, and then that player board, I guess, where you need to get the points, or how that piece works with that, I just didn't really understand.
I like how it comes together.
I know you do.
It is a very tight game. Like you don't get to do all that much, because you're either going to be you can put your people to make your actions better each round. You can kind of dedicate them to that,
but you need
or you kind of go to scoring. So I could see how that would be a little.
I think the
tough.
components in this game are really cool, though. They've got great trains, cool tiles. The people are even really neat. They've got that double layered board.
Triple layered.
I
think. Yes. The main board is triple layered because it's got the indents on the one side and then the other side.
Yeah.
As well.
So, I think the look of this game is really cool.
No, I like it quite a bit. But there are a couple things in it that I could see people being a little more disappointed in. To not make it quite the top tier.
Not quite a Ticket to Ride game, huh?
But it is staying. Don't you even think about it.
This isn't a one-man show, is it?
Would you get rid of it if it was up to you?
Yeah. Wow. I mean, I learned it last year, and I have not asked to play it. It's been a
That's
full
true.
year.
That is true.
I'm like, meh.
Maybe I'll have to let it go. I saw those expansions, and I was hoping those would be interesting. That's why I sent them to you over and over. But that didn't do it. I thought so. Maybe not.
Well, maybe I'll have to play it again, see if it rubs me. You know, sometimes with games, it does take me a little bit of a warm-up period. I think there's probably many games I would say I really like now that I didn't start off liking. So,
How about this one, Metro X?
On to a better train game. And that is
the rail and right game.
Metro X. I really liked this game. I thought it was fun. It's a really cool puzzle where you're trying to map out your lines and they overlap, and so it's like, well, how far can I go on this line, or how does marking that one, get me further on this line, and kind of how do I do that quickly, and kind of moving it forward. So I just thought this was really interesting in the one playthrough that I've had of it, and I thought that was just a really great flip and right, rail and right.
Yeah, and I can see how they could make it more expandable too with different. You didn't try the other side of it, but they could kind of change it up a little bit with different tracks. I don't know that they necessarily have to. I did find it a little disappointing that I filled my whole thing in with one to go, and I got third out of 4 people. That was the first time I'd filled it in.
Filling it all in is not the goal.
Apparently not. It's to build those tracks the quickest. I knew I wasn't going to win many of the bigger point rewards for filling them all in. So I think I got 2 of the bigger ones, but those are both, I tied with people and got them on the same turn. And then everything else was all the lower value. So it wasn't enough to overcome.
Do you think that they should have put it on the whiteboard erase thing? Because I don't know how many times we played it, but it already seems like it's not coming off that board very well. So I'm like, ooh, maybe this should have been paper. But
what do you mean paper?
Like a tear sheet.
I like it on the board.
You do? Okay.
But yeah, I can see that being.
We'll see how it holds up.
Yeah.
But
I
really
think it
like
still looks good.
I like it.
Oh boy.
It's mine technically.
That's true.
Who got this one for me? You or Jesse?
I think Jesse did.
Oh, thanks, Jess. Good pick.
Because I didn't know much about it. But then we get to one that I still didn't know that much about, but had heard, well...
I don't know why, but I don't even hear board game stuff, and I was hearing stuff about this one.
Yeah,
like
Marvel United.
Marvel United, Marvel United, Marvel United.
Well, I think it's because Tom was... probably at the time when I got this, he was
expansion
already
for Marvel United.
Looking at the Marvel United X-Men and all the content that came with that.
Yeah.
This is just the base game, which originally, I think when this one, along with all the expansion content and stuff, was originally on Kickstarter or whatever it was. I think it was Kickstarter at the time. I was interested. I was like, who? I've been looking for a Marvel game, and this one could maybe be the one, because it had, all the characters and
the
way more.
The minis are amazing.
And yeah, at the time you could get all these Kickstarter extras and all, I don't know how many it was, if it was 60 to 80 different characters, and I was like, that'd be pretty cool, and yeah, the minis were good, and the price, I don't remember at the time what it was. It was probably like 200 or something. I could... be totally wrong on that, but it was enough where I was like, because when I was looking at it, I was like, this seems like a really simple game, like almost too simple to be worth that. But yeah, now that I got this, I think we got it on Prime Day or something.
Yeah, we did.
I don't know how much it was, 11, 13 bucks.
Yeah, it was cheap, surprisingly.
So I was like, well, I'll give the base game a try, because it sounds like, at least with all the expansion content, a lot of the people liked it quite a bit. So I thought, well, try the base and see what it's like. And I actually really liked it and got really disappointed that I didn't back all the stuff from originally. Huh. I was like, yeah, that kind of sucks. But I don't know. What did you think of it? I don't think it's not heavy or it's a very light game.
I feel like
it's a very light game.
It's almost childlike light. I feel like.
Wow, you just said before Menara was thinky, or you said something along those lines. I'm like, okay, it's. Well, I wouldn't say that.
It's thinky with you and Jesse. I probably wouldn't put as much thought into it, but.
Well, what we do in that is just say, can we fulfill that?
Yeah.
Because you know which cards are kind of in there.
Yeah.
But I don't think that it's thinky. It's not like...
No, not sit there and think about it, I guess. But it's, I don't know what you'd say.
Yeah.
But I don't know. After playing Unmatched, I think I'd like that better. I know they're not like the same thing, but the card piece where you play a card
this is cooperative, though.
To do something. I know.
No.
I just am saying that card piece that you you play to do something with an action with your character. I think that's a little, I don't know.
No, I would agree that is much. The card play and Unmatched is, I enjoy that quite a bit more, because the cards in here are very, very simple. But I don't know, maybe I went into it thinking that it was going to be even lighter than that or whatever. But no, I still thought it was. I thought it brought just the right amount of thinkiness to the table for, it's a really short game.
Yeah, it is. It's got, it definitely has that. So, it was good.
Yeah, I really liked it. I'm really disappointed that Thor isn't in this set.
I know, right? That would have been great.
But, no, so, yeah, if you thought it was maybe too light for you, if you see it on a deal like that,
maybe
I would,
light isn't
I would recommend looking
It's just like the artwork, the coloring,
it is very childlike.
Reminds me, but it is more of a with
toy?
this. No, with like the co-op aspect of it, there is, you know, that level of non-childlike strategy in there. So, which you do have to figure out. But if you guys have been around for a while, you know that I'm probably not the biggest fan of co-op games.
Yeah, that's true.
But that one's probably a better one on the scale of co-ops for me.
That is true. This is not a co-op game. This is a one. Well, I think you can do teams probably too, but we've only ever. Me and Jesse are the only ones that have played it.
I was gonna play this one with you, and then you guys played it.
Yeah, whenever I bring it up, though, you're like,
Yeah, it was like anytime you brought it up before we started doing the alphabet.
Claim to like history, but
Which
I
war
offer
is
you
this set in?
Memoir 44 War.
What war is this set in?
Is it 2? No. Yes.
You sure?
I don't know.
Yes, it's 2. 44? That's 1944.
Okay. Yes. Okay. But yes, it's a game where you're pretty much playing Axis and Allies against each other. Not the game Axis and Allies, but
it's like Battleship.
You're setting up kind of a scenario. There's several different scenarios that you kind of can set up and have different kind of fields of play or whatever, where you sometimes you use like I think like barbed wire, or you use like trees
like
to like impassable.
That you're playing out?
I think that might be one of the options. There's a few different ones because you've got some where some seem way more powerful than the others, and you've got some have tanks and then some don't, and have the. I just find every time I play it, I have a really good time, but I don't know that I don't know why it doesn't like come to me as one that I suggest we play all the time. I don't know if it's. I don't know. I don't know why that is, but I think it's pretty good. I think you're gonna have to try it sometime and see what you think about it.
Yeah.
I don't think we get rid of it because it's another short, simple one. Because you can eat. I think a lot of it you even probably play as one side and kind of see go until someone wins that one, and then flip the board around and then play the opposite side.
Oh. That
way, if one is kind of stronger than the other, you kind of compare the total amount of medals, I think it is, considered that you got. But no, I find the dice rolling in it fun. It's interesting because you roll like the same amount of dice, whether you have, I think the troop ones start off as like groups of 4 or something. Whether you have 1 or 4 in there, you roll the same amount of dice. So one guy could take out a tank or 2, possibly. I just like that kind of thing.
The American spirit.
Right. Kind of makes me think of like the kind of the dice rolling in Dwellings, where you can
take out a giant
take
monster.
out someone that has 5 dice and you're only rolling 1 or 2. I just like those things where you can have something go your way. I know the time that I just played it with Jesse, though, things did not go my way. Had some bad rolls.
Oh, that's a pretty inside.
Yeah, my name's in there.
Really?
It is. It's a Kickstarter
Is it
backer.
a Kickstarter? Where's
it
that?
I think it was over in the top, over in one of the corner. I don't remember. One of these edges, I think.
Okay.
But yes, so Merchants of the Dark Road. Me and Jesse.
I found Jamie Stegmeyer.
He's on there too. We played it once, and then now we just got it back to the table finally after quite a while of not playing it.
Yeah, what's up with that?
And got it, played it with you this time.
I did. I sat down at the table.
But yes, I don't know that the rules were explained the best to you.
I don't know if it really was that, or if it just kind of was like...
We also had a movie on in the background, and that didn't help.
That did not help at all.
So, but yes, this was actually outside of Planet Unknown. This and Planet Unknown were probably 2 Kickstarters I was looking forward to the most. And this one I was really quite excited for, because it had a really nice look to the cover, and there's something about the name that I just really, really like. But, yeah, and I think the game has a lot of interesting things in it. I just don't know that it all comes together well. And it took a long time to play. I don't remember what it took the first time we played it.
Well, we
and
did
if
get
it was
interrupted midway for about
Yeah.
half an hour to 45 minutes.
Yeah, so it's hard to know exactly because, yeah, we were kind of relearning it too. And yeah, I don't know that it's... Some of the things just aren't as intuitive as I feel like they should be. So then you're checking the rule book quite a bit. But no, there's just things in it that I really, really like, which makes me disappointed. Because I'm like, this game should... And maybe if you're out there and you've played this several times and it gets faster and faster, it says 60 to 120 minutes, so I guess it could go up to 2 hours. I feel like if it was somewhere in that range, it'd probably be good. But yeah, our game was quite a bit longer than that, I think.
I wish that you could go the other way around the road. Like, I wish you didn't have to go clockwise. Because I feel like that would set me up much better for getting something, figuring out which items I wanted, and then
I think
selling them.
that'd make it too easy, though.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I need.
But no, I really like how you go around there and can use the dice. The interesting thing about the dice, one of the things I find interesting about the dice, you did not play by those rules.
Well, see, and I even knew that was a rule, but I just completely forgot about it as I got overwhelmed by the other things I needed to remember.
Yeah, so yeah, you've got the 3 slots for dice, and they're kind of each correlated to an action, but you were just kind of taking pretty much you were just taking whatever movement you wanted, and then taking the action that you wanted along with it. But I found it way more interesting when you have to kind of pick one that gives you the movement you want, but also possibly gives you that action that you want, especially if you're trying to use one of those illuminated die. Which I think that's a really cool thing as well, where then you get to take both the actions and you get a special bonus action as well. It's got a lot of really cool things in it, and I don't know. I wish it came together a little bit more.
Yeah. It's such a really good production, and the theme is so cool.
Outside of the one insert.
Okay.
It is crazy. The one insert is awesome and amazing and like extremely well designed. And then you get to the other insert and I'm like, this could not have been the same people putting these together. Because it like fits everything in it, but it's like not... It just doesn't feel like it was like... It's just like, okay, well, we'll throw that in, then we'll throw that in, then we'll throw that in. There wasn't like any thought as to what's the best way to do this. We're just going to keep throwing components in until we get it to fit.
That's rough.
But, no, I don't know.
We'll keep it
I haven't
around.
decided yet.
Your name's in the box. You
I
gotta
know,
keep
that's
it for a
what
little
makes
while.
it hard to say to call it, but...
Yeah, how much did we have to spend to get your name in this box?
Yeah, I think it was just all the backers.
Okay.
So. Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Definitely look into this one a lot more if you're thinking of getting it, I'd say. My Little Scythe. This is the second one that is not ours.
Yes.
And we kind of played it for the second and third time. Granted, the first time was quite a while ago.
Yeah, the first time was like 10:30 p.m.
years ago.
Years ago.
But
and I don't even know if I made it through the game, honestly. I think I might have had you finish for me so I could fall asleep on the couch.
Probably. But yeah, it's kind of a more family-friendly
It's a pared down Scythe.
You know, easier, more approachable Scythe.
And I just thought it was like their 4th anniversary or something. Or.
Yes, when we're filming this, it is a couple days after their 4th anniversary of My Little Scythe.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's... I don't think I'm its intended audience, so I think that's one of the things.
Yeah.
I really, really love Scythe. It's one of my top games of all time, and I feel like if I want the Scythe experience, I would rather play Scythe. And if I'm going to play a game, because this one is a lot shorter than Scythe as well, and a little quicker setup, so if you're looking for a shorter game, I think I would usually pick a different game.
Yeah.
I think I'd pick a different game over this.
Yeah.
I just don't know that it has quite enough for me, but I could see how if you were trying to get a family version of it and that you could play with kids, I think this would be perfect for that.
Yeah.
I just don't know that this one is necessarily for us.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's great, but like you said, I prefer full Scythe.
Mhm.
Like, it's just, I think the main thing is just mainly the resource production in this one, which is fine, but there's a lot more.
I actually find that as one of the coolest things in the game.
It is cool, but I think that leads to more combat.
I would say you probably saw more combat because in the real Scythe, I knew you wouldn't play as many games of it if we got into combats all the time, but yes,
well, I know how to play
I
it
would,
now, so.
I would agree that some of the objectives that you try to do are definitely going to be a lot harder than others.
Yeah.
Because if you have the resources needed to get to the center castle, or
You gotta
whatever,
get to the center. Moving.
there's just way. It's way too easy to get around that board because of the portals.
Yeah.
That you can't really escape other people coming to steal. It does create more battles, I would think. Maybe it doesn't create more, but it. If someone has a lot of resources,
Yeah.
they're probably going to get challenged
Yeah.
by someone.
Yeah.
But I think it does a good job at doing what it's trying to do, where it's trying to be a more family version of Scythe.
I think it does
So.
too. And I mean, you probably wouldn't start out by like stealing all of your kids' resources. But
Probably not. But you never know.
it's really cute though. I think it's good that it's in existence.
Yeah, if little Johnny wasn't being so good, you could beat him up in My Little Scythe a little bit. Take his gems and apples.
Johnny, you've been a bad boy. Sit down at the table. We're gonna play My Little Scythe.
Yes.
I'm gonna show you what's what.
Ooh, and then we get to Murano.
Yeah, you played this one without me.
I tried to ask you to play some games. We were
Lies.
just trying to get through the M games.
I know.
And,
But it turns out
was a
this
new
is
one.
an amazing game, and
This-
it's so cool.
This was a new one that we hadn't ever played before, which I think is always a little harder if they're not. But this one isn't actually too. It doesn't have too many rules with it. But yeah, it's by Inca and Marcus Brand, who do a lot of solid games. They do Rajas. They've done the escape room or what are they called? Exit games. Yep. And yeah, this one is just really, I loved it after the first play.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's just there's a rondelle of gondolas going around the outside edge of the board to take different actions.
Are you in Venice?
In Murano. But yes, then you are putting out tiles on the different. There's like these different islands, and then you get these cards throughout the game, which are like goals that you're trying to complete, and then you put your little gondoliers on certain islands. And if you do that, you can later on in the game claim a goal based on that island, and it's like saying some requirements, like have this many of this type of tile on there, or so and so. But like your opponents don't know, so you guys are all trying to possibly sway certain ones of the islands to have certain resources without really knowing what your opponent needs. So I find that really fun. I would really highly recommend this one. I think I've seen it on Miniature Market for sale for like $22 multiple times, and I would highly recommend it if you see that deal.
Nice.
Yeah, especially if you like the early type games. You like rondelles. It's an interesting take on that too, because you don't actually own your own. You're just kind of moving. I don't know how many there were, 6 or 7 of them around the outside edge of the board. So, and if they get kind of clogged up one behind another, you can move onto a spot, but you have to move all of them in front of them, and it costs you, I think, coins to do everyone you're moving. So it's interesting.
Cool.
So that's probably my.
Not your favorite.
I was gonna say my second favorite.
Oh.
It's hard to say. It's only one play, so maybe it's just a hotness, but I liked it quite a bit.
As per usual. Is this our last one?
This is the last one, and it is my favorite.
That was strategic.
Well, originally Merchants of the Dark Road was going to be the last one, but I didn't really want to have that be the last one.
Well, that's funny because Caibo is also my favorite.
Ooh.
Pretty easy.
But how many of those have you even played? 2? 3?
Easily.
Maracaibo is a really awesome game.
8 of 12.
Okay, so that's not too bad then.
Yeah.
But no, you can describe Maracaibo.
Oh man, what a mess.
What a mess!
A hot mess that we love.
It's another Rondell type game. Sort of.
Yeah, I mean,
Not
basically, I don't even know where to start. You got a ship, and you move around the islands. There's different movement abilities and things. And then, along with that, there are cards that have resources on them that you spend at the different stops along the island chains, or that you turn in, or that you buy because they give you benefits, or maybe they lets you put like an assistant out on an island so that when you land there, you get an extra like ability or something, you know, additional to help you in the game. And there's capture the flag or the island kind of situations going on where you're working with countries to capture islands.
The red, the white, and the blue cubes you're working
France,
with.
Spain, and England. You're trying to explore the islands, I guess, and one of like there's like I kind of call them like sub games. Like the explore the island
the
piece.
quest?
No, like the explore the island piece.
The explore the island piece.
Like in the bottom half, the part you always do.
Going through the jungle or whatever.
The exploration track.
Yeah.
And then the combat or the whatever track you'd say. And so it's just kind of you just are moving along throughout this island
Building up
chain.
a tableau of cards.
Yeah. Trying to get certain things, and it's all dependent upon, you know, kind of the board can vary in the setup, I think, a little bit.
A little bit.
So that kind of plays into like what you can do in a given game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really like a lot of things going on in the game. It's trying to get these little chips off of your, like you said, turning in certain cards for
like it's increasing your ship's ability or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're being able to do that by getting rid of cards with certain symbols on them. I find that really fun because it's like there may be a card that you never planned on using, but you can get rid of it using that. Mm-hmm. I love when you have multi-use cards in games, and I think that's a very clever way of doing that because then they're also used for some other things as well.
Yep.
And then I think my favorite part is definitely the being able to put out those little helper or worker cards out on different islands because you get to have your own action that you get to do. I just find that really cool.
Yeah, you love those. It took me like an extra game or two to catch on to that ability.
Yeah, and for this one, we actually, for the first time when we played it this time, we started the little story thing, which I think it's interesting. It changes up the game a little bit, but it nothing too drastic. So I think we'll probably continue going through that, but I don't know that it's going to be like a huge, compelling story. Maybe it will be, but that's not what I got from it.
I think the last time we got to pick, like, do you want to go after this loan shark for some money, or do you want to go get the doctor and save the people who have dengue fever on the island or something? And we're like, we'll go save the people. Well, then we had to fight the pirates.
Wow, giving away the spoilers.
Loan sharking, and I was like,
spoilers!
No!
Yeah, we should have saw that coming.
Yeah. I think they only get to that option if they choose different options in front of that, so.
I can't remember.
It's fine.
But no, it's an awesome game.
Yeah.
All
I do is lose it, and I like it. So that's got to speak to something.
It really, I don't know that it's anything like that, but it gets me really excited to try Great Western Trail. It's also by Alexander Pfister. I don't know if it's necessarily like it, but I'm sure it's got some similar DNA since it's got the same designer. So I can't wait to try that one as well because it's ranked even higher than this one on Board Game Geek. But I think they're both in the top 100 and probably even in the top 50.
Huh.
So yeah, it's an awesome game. I'd highly recommend it. We're definitely keeping it. You're not going to get rid of that one.
I wasn't about to.
Don't even think about it.
All right, sir. All right.
But yeah, so what did we decide? We're going to keep all of these?
Yeah, you don't have a single one that's even close, I guess.
Well, I said probably try Marches of the Dark Road again. That one could possibly go, and then maybe Menara. But like I said, it's tough because it's like that one is very different. Whereas we have some games that I like multiple of the games, but they're sort of similar. So it's like, really should be getting rid of one of those versus one that's different. But
Yeah.
maybe I should just get rid of the one that's different if I don't get as much joy out of it. But
Well,
I think it's still a fun cooperative
between
game.
the dexterity games we have, I would say if we're looking at
That's
it from
true.
that angle, there's probably one that I'd want you to get rid of before Menara. Like and subscribe to our page to see what that game might be.
Yes.
And what ladder that comes up under. T.
But yeah, if you've made it this far, definitely consider giving us a like. Otherwise, we hope to see you on the future videos. And as always, don't forget to keep on nibbling on our content.